what we're really offering you guys out there is like, hey, here's a way to sort of like jump into the stream of what we're doing that's helping us in our relationship. And we're giving you a tool that says like, hey, we want to talk about intimacy. Here's a direct way. We have a scale now we're going to start using, because everything that Tarah was just saying about like me having to like deal with her saying a -5, and that she learns about my defensiveness, and maybe I learn about my own insecurity, and her saying like, hey, when you bring it up at a certain time, that makes me feel anxious. That's all like information that's useful in our intimate relationship. And so every time you do this, the expectation, it's not like always going to be like rosy. Like it's actually going to produce some maybe uncomfortable moments.
Right.
But if you accept that and you get better at self-regulating in those moments, and then you learn from what happened, then you're working on your intimacy, which is what so many people struggle to do.
And it brings awareness to the other person's struggle, because you have consistently been on the higher frisky scale.
Since kids.
Since the twins.
Since
in
kids.
a decade.
Yeah.
But what that does is it opens up conversation to like, because do I want that? No, I want to feel like a frisky little Kit Kat like I used to, right? A little kitten, whatever. But it brings conversations to like, God, I wonder what it's like for EJ to like consistently hearing me check in with like a 2 or a 3, because the idea too, really quickly with the numbers, is 0 to 5 is like, no, it's like it's not happening. I'm not feeling it. 5 is like,
on the fence.
I could maybe like have a makeout session. Sorry, I know that's dating me too. For me, it's like anything above a 7, like let's go. 7, I hit maybe once a year. I'm working on that. You know, you check in with each other. Like, I wonder what it's like for EJ to consistently be the higher frisky scale. And if I'm talking to you about that, like, God, it must feel like really frustrating, or help me understand how that feels. Because I know for me, like, I'm always frustrated when you're checking in with like a 10. I'm like, damn, I wish I had like male hormones, testosterone, whatever it is. Like, I get envious.
Well, that's a huge point too, because, and I think it's something that like was lacking in our relationship, and maybe something that doing this consistently has helped with. I didn't feel for a long time that sort of you got or cared about where I was in the frustration level, in the not feeling wanted, in not feeling desirable, all of that. Cause it always felt like sort of like my high friskiness was sort of annoying and causing you suffering, because it made you feel bad about yourself. So it blocked you from feeling any empathy for me. And what I often felt was just like that there was this sort of, and it was even vocalized at certain points, is like, hey, that's your problem. Like deal with it. And I think that people who are on the higher end of the like frisky scale, that's sort of the message they get is like, look, you need to deal.
Yeah.
You need to deal.
And until we develop tools to have healthy conversations around it, that's exactly the predicament that happens. Like, people are in their own isolated way dealing with this, right? Like, we've talked about this. We have like people that won't even undress like in the same bedroom
because they don't want to get the other person's friskiness up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like and so we've been there, we've done that. It didn't feel good. We would argue over it. I would even be scared to have a date night. Like, the idea of date night, that means like it has to end in sex. And but now we talk about it and it feels really safe. And it's not even about quantity, right? To me, it's all quality, and quality intimacy is all about emotional safety. And if you can get through this in a really healthy way, it will come, right?
Well, yeah.
Sorry, it will come.
It will come.
I'm so dirty.
I also had to learn a lot about being, I got like, that it was hard for you to be low, and I continue to get that it's hard for you to be low on the frisky scale. But there was always like a little bit of a block of really like being totally empathetic to it. And I think a lot of people who are high on the frisky scale, they lose their empathy, and they don't know like what the other person is feeling, and they get like kind of judgmental around, well, why can't you just do something? Or if you really love me, or if you say you're attracted to me but you don't. And I had to get it on a much deeper level, that there's a lot going on there, that there's there's the burnout of just like life, and there was some past stuff, but it's through us talking about it that I think we got more empathetic and understanding.